So before we can start animating the character, we need to go through the procedure which is called rigging, which is preparing a character for animation, giving it an ability to animate, to move, to rig it. The process of rigging is in Blender always starts with creating an armature. This is an underlying skeleton that is the mechanism that is going to run the deformations of the character. So let's start with that. Let's hide everything that we don't need and Shift A, get to add menu, and here we have one single bone that was created here. So we can see it. So we can easily see it. I think we could switch to X-ray. We turn on X-ray settings in the objects. Yes, here it is. So now, even though it's inside the character, we can still see it. And let's get to the edit mode. And first of all, this bone is going to be our root bone. You'll understand later what that means. But basically, it's going to be the main bone of the character, and I want it to be horizontal and be on the floor, on the feet level. And let's try to position it that way. Yep, here we go. This is what I wanted. And now we can start adding other bones. So you usually start with the pelvis bone. So I'm going to put my cursor here and Shift A to add another bone while we're in edit mode. Let's move it inside the body, approximately in the middle. And now there are two ways we can do it. We can make a big spine bone and subdivide it in the middle. I think it's yes, select the bone and subdivide, and we have more than one bone now in the spine. Or we could extrude the bone instead of subdividing it. So we get back to the smaller size we had, and just by pressing E and dragging our mouse, we can extrude that bone. And while we're extruding, if we press Z, then we're going to limit the motion to Z-axis. That's good. And keep in mind, I mean, a human spine has 33 bones. We don't need as many here. It's a simple character. And even if it was a complicated one, you wouldn't go to that 33 number. So 3 is perfect for this kind of character. This is the bone I've just added is for the head. The character doesn't have a neck, otherwise I would have added one for other kinds of characters. And now let's start adding bones for the hand. Try to think of well, like I'm putting the root of that bone in the middle of the sleeve, which is where I'm assuming in cartoonish anatomy the joint is going to be of that character. All right, let's do the same for the leg. The same here, a little bit the root of that bone a little bit lower. And here I'm thinking we could as well add a joint for the foot itself, even though this character's design doesn't have any distinguished feet. Having a separate joint could help us have more control when we're going to be animating. It's quite important to name the bones and name everything you do, every object you create. Um, when you're working on any size of a project, but especially if it's a big project. And also, and it's important to use naming conventions. For example, now I'm renaming an arm, and just to put an L or an R, depending on which side it is on. So it's going to be easier for us to understand just by the name of the object where it is and what it does. Now that that's done, we can add some additional bones that we're gonna need. They're gonna be more of a technical bones, so we're gonna extrude this one back. It is gonna become clear why we need those later. So let's extrude from the elbow and the knee forward 2 bones. Yes, just like that. So we have these 3 uh, technical bones, let's say. Actually, I'm thinking let's remove the elbow one. It's unnecessary. So as you can see, this bone is now connected to the knee. I don't want that. Let's clear the parent by pressing Alt P and choosing clear parent. Now this bone can move freely, and this is exactly what I want. Let's do the same for the lower one. I've moved it backwards here, but I shouldn't have done that. I'll fix that later. And now let's mirror these bones to the other side. The way we do it is we press Shift C to set cursor to the center of the scene, and we switch the center of transformation to the cursor, and we press Shift D. Well, yeah, we press Shift D as X -1, which is basically means duplicate the object and transform it and scale it across x-axis by -1, which is basically mirroring. Now in the armature menu we have this function flip names, which thanks to the naming conventions changes the names of the bones. L is changed to R, so we don't have to rename the right hand to right hand. As I said previously, I shouldn't have moved those objects, these backbones away, so let's delete them and I'll extrude them again. And press Y button on the keyboard to limit the transformation to Y axis, so that we know that it goes straight back. And we're almost ready to start adding motion constraints to these bones, but let's rename this bone to look like IK aim. If you don't know what IK is, I'll explain now, but let's just give them the names. So it's easier to find those, and this one as well. leg AKL and leg AKR.